Again, I'm Linda Bratten, the creative force behind Linda Bratten Creations, and I wanted to welcome you to my sewing studio. I'm so glad that you took the time to join me. And today, we're going to have a free motion fun day. In fact, any day I get to spend doing free motion quilting on my sewing machine is a fun day for me. I'm going to share with you one of my favorite go-to techniques. In fact, those of you that join me for my hearts and loops, this is a play on the hearts and loops. Let me get my camera set up so that you can see what I'm talking about. So when I say it's a play on the hearts and loops, that means that I'm going to use some of the same techniques that I used on the hearts and loops. So when you come in, you're going to not start, if this is, let's see if I can draw my perimeters here. If this was my block that I would be quilting, I would not want to start in the upper left-hand corner, because in the United States here, we read from left to right. And so we have, our eye has a tendency to track things left to right. And so we don't want to do that. What I recommend is that you start somewhere in the middle and just start meandering on and creating a loop. Now remember, a loop is nothing more than the letter E or L. It's just a little on the fat side. And somehow, if you can flatten this edge, it gives it a more rounded look. But I always lean forward with the farthest edge of my loop first, and then come back and cross. And when I cross, this becomes a pivot point here. That means I can actually pause and hesitate and decide if I need to go someplace else. Now to make a leaf, look, it's a pointy L with a fat bottom. That's a secret. So as I'm coming along here and I want to make a leaf, I'm going to go long again, stop at the top, making it a pivot point, and coming back down. Now I have a leaf shape, real easy. And then I can come back around, do another loop, and then I'm going to go long again. Let's go upside down here. The trick to this one is to become so non-directional, your leaves go all different shapes, or all different directions anyhow. And what that does is it provides an all over meandering path that you can actually quilt fairly quickly and becomes a really great, really great background fill. Now, you can jazz this up by coming in and doing a little bit of a vein when you're here at that pause point, exiting out, and then continuing on. So you can really make these loops and leaves look as fun as you want them to be. All right, so let's take this to the machine and I'm going to show you how to do it. So on my sewing machine, I have my machine set up with a free motion quilting foot. This happens to be my O foot. I'm going to go to my stitch selector and I'm going to hit my free motion quilting choice. What this does is this lowers my feed dogs. It also just makes sure that I'm going to be a straight stitch. And on my machine, this is the Solaris 2. It happens to identify that the foot I'm using is the O2. I am working on white fabric and I'm probably going to regret that. And I do have a variegated thread. Now, I am using a King Tut variegated thread, and it just happens to be various shades of green. And I have here just a standard quilt sandwich, and I have the same thread in the bobbin as in the top. That's something real important for a lot of people that I don't think they realize, is that if you have the same thread, you're going to have less of the tension issues that most people face, but that helps to avoid any kind of visibility, like little dots of color on the background. And I'm going to go ahead and start probably on this side here. And I'm going to lower my presser foot and insert my needle into the bobbin case and pull it back up. And what that does is that pulls my bobbin thread to the top of my product. Okay, so all I did is go back to settings and I just shut off some of my lights. And maybe that'll help us give us a little bit more visibility. Although that is one of the things I love about my Solaris, is that I have that stadium lighting, which helps me. The older I get and the older my eyes get, the more I love it. Okay, so I'm just going to take a few stitches here to plant my stitches, and I'm going to probably just pull these out of the way here. And let's go ahead and make some loops and leaves so you can see what it's like in action. Now remember, slow and steady wins the race. This is not a speed round. Remember, just like in the past, when you go around a circle, you want to give it just a tad bit more gas. That's going to help you in making it less straight or octagonal. It gives it more of a shape. And here we go for our first leaf. Once again, I'm going for the furthest line of stitching first. I'm coming back around to finish the leaf shape. Okay, I'm just going to stop and pivot here so you can kind of see the actual lines that we have going on. I'm going to now start putting in the veins that we showed you on the drawing. When you get back to the bottom of the leaf where you're going to be pivoting, go ahead and go in and retrace right back out. And I'm using those leaves, or the loops, excuse me, to fill in any area that might make it seem just a little bit uneven. Let me just go ahead and tie it off. And then I'm going to lift my needle up and my presser foot, pull it out, and drop it right back down in the same, oops, well, close, I guess. I didn't hit the same one I was talking, but that'll help me pull up my bobbin thread. And when I get to my bobbin thread, remember one that's going to pull real easy. Do you see this? That means this is the part coming off, feeding off the bobbin. I'm going to clip that one, and that'll leave long trails on the top of my project to be able to tie off and sink back down. You get a really great background fill. There we go. You get a really great background fill that meanders along. You get a variety of different types of leaves. Now, I always tell people when they take my class, they're like, well, my leaves don't look like yours. And I'm like, nature has a variety of leaves. So don't worry. If you look at this one, perhaps it's caught in the wind, whereas this one is head on. And maybe this one over here is a baby leaf. I tell folks, practice trying to get your loops and your leaves to look about the same size. And when people look at your quilt, they're just going to see very, very pretty loops and leaves. They won't see the imperfections. Now, if you've got a lot of very small leaves, make sure you add more small leaves, because what that does is just makes it look more intentional. So I hope today you give it a try. I'd love to see what you do. If you can leave it in the comments, that would be great. Then the last thing I want to share with you, this is just another photo of the leaves and loops on a different color fabric, on a textured or one with a print. If you use a contrasting thread, you're going to see more of it versus what you see on a solid background. In fact, I should probably flip this over so you can see what it looks like on the back side, because I think that's important too. And just let you see with the camera here what it looked like on the back side of my fabric. It kind of, the variegated thread, one of the secrets about using variegated thread is that it changes color, and where it matches the background fabric, like right here, your eye actually loses sight of the stitches and it becomes more textural. And what I like about a variegated thread, especially for anyone who is new to free motion quilting, is this enables you to quilt a quilt and not have anybody immediately pick out imperfections. So it's more about enjoying the process and finishing your products. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. I'm so excited that you joined me, but thank you again for joining me. I've so enjoyed having you with me today. May you be inspired, and may you, the rest of your week, be creative. Thanks, and we'll see you next time. Bye.